The issues in shoulder in obstetric policy are lack of abduction, external rotation, and inability to externally rotate in adduction even passively, usually because of glenoid dysplasia. A very typical kid. And usually is caused by either inadequate reinnervation of deltoid supra and infraspinatus, which is less common. What is more common is co-contraction. So co-contraction is caused by regenerating nerve fibers crossing over during recovery, both in spontaneous and surgical reconstruction. And in our unit, we do EMG documentation of this, and this is one such example. So external rotation is affected by infraspinatus co-contracting with teres major, lat dorsi, and pec major. Subscapularis cannot really be tested. So this is the slide I created after discussing with Howard Clark. In the red corner are 4 gorillas, TM, LD, PM, and subscapularis. In the blue corner are 2 monkeys, infraspinatus and teres minor. If these two are to fight with each other continuously, the monkeys have no chance, which means the shoulder is going to go into internal rotation. A typical EMG report. And this is a MRI which shows a reasonable situation, not yet gone into glenoid dysplasia and dislocation. But this is one which shows the glenoid is completely dysplastic now and the humerus is dislocated. What is the solution? Let us start with the diagnosis. 3 things are wrong. Abduction and ER is hampered due to co-contraction, and MRI shows progressive deformity leading to dislocation. Our approach is treat the cause. The cause is the misbehaving muscle. So use the judo philosophy. Use the strength of the opponent to help solve the problem. So if we take the offending adductor, internal rotator, and give it to abductor, external rotator, we never ever remove all 4 because hand to midline function is very, very important. So the typical operation is TMLD, one or both taken off the humerus, either together or separately to rotator cuff and the greater tuberosity. In addition, we do an anterior shoulder release if ER is stuck passively, and we give a spica like this, and showing you some results. Showing you pure external rotation in adduction. There can be no doubt that it is restored. Another child. This is a 5-year follow-up, maintained, and the glenoid dysplasia is reversed. Showing you one example, a dislocated dysplastic glenoid, completely reversed with a follow-up. We have now, in fact, completed a study on almost 100 patients where we have followed up these kids. This is a medium term. So the results of our study shows that for glenoid version, we have a significant p-value and we have definitely improved glenoid version. For PHHA also significant, less than 0.01, and Waters grade also significant. Similarly, let us ignore the rest. For external rotation, it shows less than 0.01. The crux comes here. In children greater than 6 years of age, when we do a muscle transfer, then the significance drops. So I firmly believe that children under 5 years of age, we can definitely do muscle transfer rather than break a bone, because we are not only addressing the cause, we are reversing the cause, and therefore it makes much greater sense in children under 5 years of age to do a muscle transfer rather than a bony operation. So our contention is muscle transfer is the best option under 6. It works well, it allows remodeling, and there is no reason to break a bone and leave the cause untreated. Osteotomy is, of course, available in older children. Some of our papers. Thank you very much.